Abel is a character that demands to be played both aggressively and also intelligently. He's got some solid combos and, more importantly, an excellent mix-up game and command grab. The best range to play Abel is in your opponent's face, so be aggressive and do your best to stay in this range. Abel has a very aggressive fighting style and uses combat sambo, which is Russian wrestling with military elements, and various mixed martial arts styles, mixed with judo. Abel tends to rely heavily on his grappling, and many of his moves can easily chain into a throw or set a foe up for one. He does move somewhat slowly, and you would think getting close enough to set up for a throw would be tricky. However, most of his techniques get him either behind an enemy or right in their face, usually via Marseille's roll. Abel also has a high capability of grounding opponents that think jumping around mid-air is the best gameplay, thus he can get very close in the process. Abel is overall a strong character who needs to get close to finish a fight, and he has an array of effective tools and movesets for doing this. Abel also has an over-average stamina rating coming at 1050, mixed in with a higher stun that is also at 1050, and a decent dash. He's certainly one to give you a run for your money, and he's not really too hard to play as either. Because he has a great combo potential with ultras that are very useful to combo into, though doesn't have any projectile moves, Abel is usually and effectively played as a rushdown based character. He's also capable of a good variety of cross-ups and overheads, plus many grab possibilities. He's a great character for mix-ups and keeping your opponent guessing, also for punishing mistakes made by the other players. I wouldn't recommend him for players who enjoy fighting from long distances, as he's severely lacking in options from that far away. He's also quite a big fella, thus getting into his hitbox is a bit easier than others, especially the crouchers as I like to call them, examples being E Honda and Blanca. He also has issues with some pokes, and especially characters which are practically pure grapplers and throwers, such as Zangief. He relies heavily on his reversals, which sadly are a bit below average, and characters with strong throws and knockdowns can give him some issues. Luckily, Abel has plenty of little tricks and trips to deal with projectiles, but Abel players should be wary about the opponent's normal moves, especially if they're high priority. Abel requires some degree of timing and patience on the player's part. Even though he has plenty of uses and combos, it's hard to use them when you're being punched and kicked out of your startups. I suggest poking carefully and waiting until a more favourable position comes into play. If your opponent is deciding to be real smart about Abel's close-up gameplay, by poking you up real close, I suggest an EX tornado throw. Though if your opponent is being more predictable and in a pattern, you should probably just use the normal tornado throw to get past their attempts. As far as getting away from your opponent goes, Abel's backdash is kind of poor as far as the range is, so you should use it with a pinch of salt. EX rolling is a mediocre way of getting out, especially from a wake-up or from a cross-out opponent. Thank you for watching.